Hi, it's Tim Hagan from Progress Coaching, and welcome to another episode for the Coaching Conversations podcast. Now, we are on Stitcher, we are on iTunes, and multiple different channels. Please check us out. Now, one of the things that you'll get out of our podcast episodes is a lot of content, a lot of strategy. It's not fluff, it's not concept, yet we really want you to engage with the content and let us know your feedback. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. If there's topics you'd love to have us address, we would love to share them with you. Let us know your impact and let us know your feedback.
So what is the future of coaching? What is the future of coaching in the workplace? You know, there's so many things coming, and I just went through a training module. And yes, as an expert in coaching, I am constantly looking for different things to facilitate coaching. And I actually created from a video a really good module from a guy who runs a newsletter company talking about, a group coaching concept that I had not really thought about in the context that he talked about. And its identification is having these cohorts, almost like cohort sprints, but have only a focus on one transformational focus. So one of the things that I just did is I created a 4-week program for a company for new managers. And it was around just giving feedback, becoming more confident in giving feedback. That's it. That's our only focus. So for 4 weeks, what we did is we focused on different ways to deliver feedback, build trust with feedback. So each session had an imperative, but the overarching focus was the transformational focus of getting new managers to be comfortable and more confident giving feedback. That's it. And we measured it, and we had practice sessions. We had peer-to-peer sessions outside of our group sessions. We had an online course that they could take as a preemptive measure to prepare for the cohort. So I think we have to expand our horizons, but I think we have to go back to the fundamentals. And I go back to my infamous Tim Hagan numbers. 85% of people lack self-awareness. So don't tell someone they got to get better at feedback. Ask them, what's your comfort with giving feedback? Questions drive self-awareness. Number 2, when we facilitate change, most people will not arbitrarily facilitate change for themselves on their own. They just won't. So you have to facilitate activities like, let's practice that feedback conversation. Let me go first. Third, we have to also realize that people are at their most motivated state 76% of the time, according to a study done at Harvard, when people are progressing. Show people into the office for the good stuff. Put a note on their desk. Send a card home. You will blow people away. And so I think foundationally, we just developed a course called Spot Coaching, which is our version of observational coaching. Now, we've always done it, but we've really kind of structured it differently. Go spot the good stuff. Help people feel good about getting better. Foundationally, does that have long-lasting results? No, but it nurtures nudges during the day that ultimately creates trust, where there are opportunities to deliver constructive insight, feedback, or coaching. And then last, I think the biggest thing is, we have this thing called artificial intelligence, and we use AI all the time. But I think what we're going to see is a collaborative effort. And I think about AI, and it's probably a awkward parallel to the pandemic. When the pandemic occurred, I can't tell you how many calls I got from people talking about the virtual world. I've never done the virtual world. We've never done training virtually. And I said, it's just a different place to do what you already do well. I think with AI, we have to understand a couple fundamental things. And that's that. When you use an AI tool, and let's say a leader says to an employee, here, use this AI tool. I do think there's a tremendous value there, because I think an employee might be more willing to say, how do I deal with a difficult boss versus actually talking to the boss? They might get some insights to have that conversation. But I think these things will always bring us back to what? That human connection and human interaction. Number 2, how can AI help human-based coaching? Now, here at Progress Coaching, we have, I think now 7 AI tools that build out specific coaching plans, from a coaching plan for job description or a training course, or for leader to employee expectations or group coaching topics. We've built all that. Now, what we're also building out is Convo Builder, where we're actually having people say, here's a person I'm coaching, here's their typical responses. What does the ideal conversation look like? And what we do is we highlight very specific points, like here's a question, here's a pivot in the conversation. If they give you that rebuttal, here's a response. And what we're really doing is preparing for what? Human-based conversations. And I think we have to be very conscientious that if we go all in on AI, we got to be careful. We have to be careful because at the end of the year, there's this thing called a review. And one of my clients coached to me and said, I want in our group coaching for you to mention our end of the year review every session. I want this to be a challenge for people to constantly think about as employees. Do I know where I stand with my boss? That's not only on the boss. And the client, when she instructed me to do this, I'm like, wow, this is a really great point. If you have AI doing the coaching, that end of the year review is going to be really clumsy and awkward. Because if you just give a merit increase across the board and say, wow, we can only give you 2% this year or whatever it is, what's going to happen? Human reactions can be, you haven't spent a minute of time with me. You're going to rely on that AI tool. I hated that thing. It's going to get weaponized. Now, I'm not against AI, but I think we have to build around our AI strategy. What are we trying to accomplish? And what are the right processes, procedures, the right AI tools that will allow us to do that? Start with strategy, then choose AI. Don't start with AI and then build strategy. What are your thoughts?
Thank you for listening to another episode of Coaching Conversations by Tim Hagen and Progress Coaching. Now, our company is always coming out with new and innovative solutions to help leaders coach their employees. And recently, we just created a new service called Coach to You, where leaders can pick and choose topics and assign 7 to 21-day programs for employees to learn and, more importantly, apply actions and then reflect and share what they're going to do going forward as a result of the learning. It's called Coach to You. We're literally bringing coaching to your employees. If you're intrigued, we'll have a link in each one of our episodes where you can get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to another episode.